Right, so at university, I remember going to this party one weekend, a birthday party, and I didn't really want to go to this party at all in the first place. I kind of just let my friends drag me along, but remember showing up to this place and realizing quite quickly that this was more of an invite-only party. So my friend, he'd kind of fucked up. He was only supposed to bring one guest, and he brought about two or three. And everyone else at this party, they all knew each other very well. They were all friends. So I felt like kind of an outsider, like I was intruding on this guy's birthday. And I'm walking around the room and I'm feeling like, the atmosphere is a little bit hostile. The people are kind of unfriendly. And, I'm just feeling like I don't belong there, like I shouldn't be there. So I'm feeling very awkward and self-conscious in that moment. And let me tell you what happens when I start feeling awkward and self-conscious. It starts to come through in my body language. So what it looks like when I'm nervous is I start to become very tense on the inside. My muscles start to stiffen up. I'm not moving as fluidly as I usually would. Like certain areas of my body, like my neck, will really, really stiffen up and I won't be able to move my head properly. Super weird, but hopefully you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I'm trying to make out that I'm not as affected by, everyone's judgment or opinions. I kind of don't want everyone to know that I'm feeling this way. I'm still trying to project that confident energy. But at the same time, I'm having to remember how to act normal in the first place. It's like all these anxious thoughts in my head have made me forget how to act like a normal person. And I'll start looking to other people for examples of how to act. Like, how is the next guy, has he got his hands out in front of him? Has he got his hands in his pockets? What is his fucking foot placement on the ground or something? I'm like copying other people because I can't remember how to act normal. But yeah, point being, I got stuck in this negative feedback loop of feeling like everyone's judging me, and that leading to anxious body language. And then from there, feeling like everyone's noticing how awkward I'm being, and that creating more anxious energy and more anxious body language. And it just goes on and on and on. And I've been stuck in that position so many times in my life. Still a problem for me to this day in some situations. But the reason I'm making this video is because my friend shared with me his solution to this problem. So he was going through this exact same problem of awkward and stiff body language, not knowing how to act in these situations. And he learned this, he tells me it works every single time, this body language hack. It's going to help you through those situations. So I haven't tried this out myself, but I'm going to try it out as soon as I get the chance. Just want to share it with you first. So the solution is give yourself permission to suck. Give yourself permission to not be at your best. So we've probably spent time learning all of this advice surrounding good body language, confident body language. This is how a confident person acts. They have to stand up tall with good posture. They hold good eye contact. They stand with their shoulders back and their chest out. They're striking that confident pose. And that is all very good advice, don't get me wrong. And if we practice that enough, then it just becomes automatic. We do it without even thinking. But the problem is, at least for people like me, when we're placed in those situations where we start feeling self-conscious or, we're uncomfortable, we're not feeling like ourselves, you'd be surprised at how many of the basics we just forget on the spot. When our body stiffens up, we just lose all the things that at one point were automatic. We're not doing them anymore. And then what will happen is we'll almost go through this process on the spot of re-remembering all of these things that we have to do. Like I mentioned that I look at other people, I'll start copying others and I'll suddenly remember, oh shit, I'm not holding eye contact. I'm not standing up tall with good posture. And suddenly I have this big checklist of like 10 things that I'm not doing that I need to do mid-conversation. And there's all this pressure to reset my body language that I don't need, and is actually just making me even more anxious than I was before. It's continuing that negative spiral. So what we want to do is, instead of allowing ourselves to spiral further, to make it worse, we actually want to remove ourselves from that situation. We want to go find a quiet spot, a quiet corner of the room, or maybe just the bathroom, somewhere where no one else is going to see us. We don't feel like we're being watched. And here's what we're going to do. So we're going to release all of the tension, all of that stiffness from our body in one go. We're just going to release it all of that bodily tension. And that makes it sound like I'm asking you to do something very different. No. So what we're going to do is we're going to fully relax our muscles. We're going to let all of that stiffness go. So one way to do this is you do 10 sets of deep breaths. With every consecutive breath, your muscles are getting like more relaxed. Or, my friend told me, since no one else is going to see, like no one else is watching, he just starts to spaz the fuck out, like jumping up and down on the spot, shaking his body, just loosening the fuck up until all of that tension is gone. And when we're done, our arms might be all like flopped out next to our body. We're not doing anything with our hands. We're just letting them rest in space. We might be slouching. We might be looking at the ground. We're breaking every body language hack or every confident body language convention in the book. We're just totally freestyling it. We're just totally like relaxed and not caring. And when we leave the room, we're not gonna reassume that confident body language. We're not gonna reset anything, because who the hell even cares? Who the hell is even gonna notice that we haven't got this like perfect body language, that we're not like 100% standing up straight? Who is even gonna notice? We're just gonna pretend like absolutely nothing has changed, like everything is normal. And because we're not consciously thinking about what we're doing with our body, all of these weird little thoughts about what I'm doing with my hands or how far apart my feet are, just these OCD thoughts. We're not thinking about any of that, about our own awkwardness. And we're able to redirect the energy which has been freed up towards just having a conversation, towards focusing on other people. The body language part, because you're not thinking about it, it just goes back to being automatic. And you're able to just focus fully on making a good impression. And this is actually a point in the book Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz. He talks about, I'm just paraphrasing here, we have a tendency to focus on our own words or our own actions excessively. We focus on these things so much because we care what other people think. We want to make a good impression. We want to present to the world this confident version of ourselves at all times, so people don't think any less of us. But the more you focus on yourself, on your own actions, on your own body, or what you're doing with your hands or whatever, the less confident you come across to other people. You actually come across as more anxious, more kind of neurotic, like you kind of care too much towards other people. That's the energy you're giving off. Whereas if we're just letting go, if we're not thinking about how we're acting or even what we say, you're leaning into that more natural, authentic side of yourself. You're going to be able to show who you really are. And my friend actually told me that after he'd done this little reset, after he'd had that time on his own, he was chatting to someone and like, he had this realization mid-convo, like, shit, I haven't even thought about my body language or what I'm doing with my body for the last half an hour. And sure, I might be breaking those body language rules. I might be slouching a little bit, but no one seemed to notice. If this is the worst version of me in terms of how I'm presenting myself and my body language, no one seemed to treat me any different. No one seemed to perceive me in a different way. And that might even be because he's just less focused on himself and more focused on other people and actually being present in the conversation, on just making a good impression to other people, which is what really counts. So yeah, I know it's kind of a weird paradox, but the less you focus on yourself, the less effort you put into looking confident, the more confident you come across, the more it feels effortless. So I'm going to try this as soon as I get the chance. Again, my buddy has tried this a bunch of times and he says this is the most effective solution he's found to that problem of awkward body language. So just get out there as soon as you can, take action, and report back to me. Let me know if this worked for you. I hope you found this valuable, my friends. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.